Hello everyone. It is bloody boiling in the UK yet again, and I'm sure, especially if you're from America or a different hotter country, you guys are probably sick of Brits online talking about how bloody hot it is, because on paper these temperatures don't seem too bad, but in practice they are ridiculous. And in this video, while we get our steps in on this scorching Monday afternoon, I wanted to talk a bit about how, one, this temperature is pretty disgusting, but also how brilliant it feels to be out in the sunshine in the hot weather, and some of the benefits I feel and I've sort of researched about getting out in the sun for a few hours a day, especially when it's hot like this, high UV and all that, because a lot of people scaremonger the sun quite a bit, and I think it has so many benefits, especially for a generation of people who are so used to being inside on their computers, on their laptops. You know, bright sunshine is fantastic. So let's grit our teeth and bear this weather, but actually really deep down enjoy how bloody brilliant it is. It is absolutely stunning up here when the sun is shining like this. The crops turning to that lovely beige colour, the smell coming off them of drying crops is awesome. The trees in the heat from the forest give off this really nice hot pine smell. It's beautiful. And that's the classic, British irony almost, where, as a nation, we love to complain. We love to think that everything is doom and gloom. And that comes to the weather, everything in our lovely British lives. But you actually look around you, the country is beautiful. This weather is absolutely gorgeous. And yes, it's a bit hot, but when you're out in it, in the appropriate clothing, for the appropriate amount of time, it's just stunning. It's beautiful, especially if there's a little bit of a breeze. The sun just warms your skin, makes you feel good. And there is some science behind that, and it's called good vitamin D production, because vitamin D really helps your bone structure, but also your respiratory health and just general health and energy. And you feel so much better. And I personally take vitamin D supplements every day through winter, because even though I spend a lot of time outside, I don't get quite enough of that vitamin D, again, as a bigger lad. And in the summer, getting out as much as possible, you just feel energized, you just feel good. And being out in the sun also promotes your body to release nitrates, and that's really good for blood pressure, feeling good, getting good blood flow. It's also a massive reason why I eat a lot of beetroot as well. It just makes all of that system run smoothly, and it just makes you feel great. And I'm not a scientist, I'm a computer scientist, but I'm not a biologist by any means. But this is all stuff that I've noticed just through my own observation, and also stuff I've researched, because I get very curious about that sort of thing. Like, why does being out in the sun make you feel so good? And it has a lot of scientific backing. And as I said, a generation of people who, as soon as it gets too hot, hide in air-conditioned buildings. As soon as it gets too cold, hide in the house. Get out all weathers, see the sun, even if it's behind a cloud. You'll feel way, way better for it. And that's a message I will keep badgering on about on this channel, I'm sure. And it is important to pick your walks smartly and pick your outdoor time smartly when it is this sort of weather. Like, for instance, pick a walk that has some proper outdoor in the sunshine bits, but also a lot of tree cover, a lot of woodland sections. Don't just pick an exposed hilltop for 3 hours. That's how you're going to dehydrate yourself and frazzle yourself with sunstroke. But get a walk that's got a good healthy mix of shade and sun, where you can still be outside, still enjoy it, but you get that respite from that beating sun. And with hydration, it's so important. Like, people talk to you about drinking loads and loads of water, and that's fantastic. But if you're not having the electrolytes, and you're not having the sodium, and you're not having the vitamins to put that water to good use, all you're going to do is bloat, and you're still going to be dehydrated. So make sure your sodium content's good, make sure your electrolyte content's good, and of course make sure you're hydrated. And look, the best way to manage getting your steps in during a heat wave is going to be to do those early morning walks where the world is a bit cooler and you can get away with your normal amount of walking in a bit of a cooler temperature. So if you can get away with a 5:30 in the morning start and get 10,000 steps done before lunchtime, that'd be the way to do it, in my opinion. I did that yesterday. I was up at 5:30, got 8,000-9,000 steps in before 7. So it's the way to go in this heat wave. But you know, you might not be able to do that. I certainly can't do that every day when I've got work. So when you do have to get out and walk in the heat, the beating heat of the day, make sure you make use of hats, you know, light breathable clothing. Don't do what so many people do and instantly go topless, as little clothing as possible, because that's how you get burnt, that's how you get absolutely fried by the sun. Do cover up, do wear a hat. I try and steer clear of sun cream as much as I possibly can, only if I know I'm going to be unavoidably out in the sun all day do I wear it as a last resort. But if you cover up, use hats, get yourself in the shade for a good bit of your walk, that's all you need to do, and then you get to enjoy the benefits of the sun instead of just blocking it outright. And that's the long and short of it, really. You just have to be sensible, use your common sense, rather than doing a 6-hour walk in a burst. Do 3 2-hour walks across your day. You know, split it up. Don't absolutely fry yourself, because that's one way to, you know, fry yourself for the rest of the week, and no one wants that. You want to be doing this daily, and that's how I've always managed it. You know, I've definitely done my fair share of 30-degree walks for 7 hours and absolutely killed myself for the next 4 days, and it's never any fun. And my biggest life hack for this temperature is, like, my morning routine at the minute is I get up, I'm straight in the shower, doing a cold shower, like an ice cold shower, really get my body temperature as down as I can. Then I get out in the sun and naturally slowly warm back up with the sun nice and early in the morning. As the sun's rising, getting hotter and hotter, you're warming with it. Then I spend a good bit of the heat of the day out of the sun, so whether that is in the gym or in the office working, you know, across those midday hours when the sun's at its highest, I am in and working and being productive. And then later in the afternoon, as the sun's waning, it's still nice and warm, it's still bloody brilliant sunshine, I get out for another second burst of walking in the tank top, which is what I'm doing now. And then just before I go to bed, as the sun sets, I do a third, you know, 2-hour burst of walking. Then I get in, I have another cool shower to cool me off before bed, then I sleep off and repeat that cycle the next day. I've done it every single heat wave for the last year, and it's been perfect. It's made these super bearable, super enjoyable. I get a good tan, I feel good, and I always feel my best during these weeks, even though it's so unbearably hot. And again, for those Americans who don't believe it is that disgusting here in the UK, you know, it's not just hot, it's also ridiculously humid, which I know you guys get as well. But not only that, but none of our buildings are built for heat. You guys know that. We retain heat. We're used to our rain here, but also 99% of us don't have clothing suitable for such heat. We have, you know, really thick cotton t-shirts, stuff that normally keeps us warm. We might have the odd pair of linen trousers for an abroad holiday, you know, the odd tank top, but even this is thick cotton, it's not very breathable. And that's the problem, is people aren't just well equipped for this, and we should be by now, because it is, you know, we have this every year and people are getting better at it, but it's just that sticky, unavoidable heat. And especially, again, bigger guy like myself, I weigh 120 kilograms. I'm sweating like a pig all day. It's disgusting. I can't sleep without sweating like a pig. So keeping my fluids up is such an uphill battle, but it's so important. And you know, it's times like this where I wish I'm not this heavy, but you know, it comes in so useful with the strength and the ability. And like, I'm a healthy 120 kilo. I run still, I walk a hell of a lot, I do a lot of manual labor, you know, I hold it well. So yeah, it's just a struggle when it gets hot. And all you Brits who are out there and have survived these heat waves with me a fair bit, let me know your tips and tricks, because everyone has them. Everyone has their little tidbits that they use to get through when the weather's like this. And indeed, let me know what you guys like to get up to when it's hot and sunny like this, because for me, it's my favorite thing, just to sit out in the shade, listen to the birds, and do all my working outside in the shade and enjoy the fresh air, get walks in, you know, be outdoors as much as possible without frying myself. That's what I like to do. But I know everyone has their things they love to do, and I'd love to hear from you guys what you think that might be. And yeah, I basically have got halfway through this walk now, so we're on the descent back through the woods. Then we'll get one final blast in the sun as we get out in the fields, and it should draw to a close what has been a lovely walk. And what's shocking to me, right, is on a day like today, it's not baking hot, it's 28 degrees, it's warm but manageable. I'd expect to see 10 plus people on my walk today. Certainly 5-6 years ago, before COVID, I would have seen, 10 plus people on this very footpath, and I have in the past, and I've not seen a soul today at all. And I really wonder if COVID got people so comfortable with being in their house, being locked down, that people forgot to get out and about. And I feel like COVID did that two different ways for different people. They either got so stir crazy that when lockdown lifted, they were way more grateful for their outdoor time and got into it way more and spent way more times outside, or people got way too comfortable just sitting on a computer all day and so haven't bothered. And I feel like more people lean to the second, because I'm out here every day. 3 times a day I do this path, maybe 2, and I maybe see someone once every 3 days. And I know it's not a particularly popular footpath, but as I said, this is comparing it to 5-6 years ago. I used to see people here every day. It's weird how that's happened. I think I've noticed it a lot in various different places I walk. I don't see so many people. And don't get me wrong, I love having this footpath to myself. I love not seeing another person on a walk. Trust me, I love it. But it does make me worried for the general just health of people. Because, we see all these things that saying like, my generation are the ones who go to the gym the most, they do the high rocks the most, they do this, that, the other. But, the simple things like walking, being outdoors, enjoying nature, I feel like it's dying off. And it really shouldn't be, because there's so much untapped potential people don't realise when you start getting out and about. And don't get me wrong, as a lad who goes to the gym, you can be very healthy without stepping foot outdoors. And I have no doubt that, most of the people I interact with through Strongman and the gym and stuff, they get all their work done in an air-conditioned gym or in a warehouse gym. All their cardio is Stairmaster or Treadmill. All their lifting's done indoors. And you can get very fit and healthy and very, very fucking strong without ever stepping foot outdoors. But it baffles me why someone would use a treadmill when there's so much stuff like this on people's doorsteps. I mean, even just walking around a city or running around a city is better than a treadmill, in my opinion. And yeah, a treadmill's convenient. I have a treadmill as well, but I only use a treadmill when I'm in a pinch, like it's torrential rain and I've got somewhere to be in an hour. I can get half an hour's steps done on the treadmill. It is convenient, but even if it's raining and I've got nowhere to be, or it's bright sunshine, just go for a walk. So much better for you than standing in place on a treadmill. Just the sensory ability you get from seeing different sights, smelling different smells, instead of just staring at a wall or a screen while you get your steps in. I don't understand it. I really don't. And yeah, we might be the healthy generation who go to the gym and that sort of thing, but we're certainly not the sort of generation who go outside enough. And I think that needs to change. And I really hope people coming across these videos, aren't just the people who are already outdoorsy and things like that, because obviously that's a huge proportion of the people who watch these videos. But if you're someone who isn't, get outdoors. And yeah, you might be one of those people who have come over from the Strongman channel and you think because you're in the gym every day doing Strongman training that you are really healthy and stuff. But I'll tell you the truth is 90% of people who do Strongman training are not healthy at all. And like, Strongman training itself can be very, very good for you, very healthy, very functional. And that's the big reason why I do it. I love it. I think it prepares you better than any other thing you can do in the gym for actually living your life and being outdoors. But you have to pair it with being outdoors, cardio, walking, fresh air. You need to put as much focus into that side of your training and your ability as you do your lifting. And I know that's not what this channel is about. I know this channel is away from the lifting and all that other stuff, but it is so important for me and how I live my life, that, you know, strongman's a sport where steroids are allowed, and they're far too common in strongman among the novices, in my opinion. I'm natural, I'm staying natural. That's not going to change. And, you know, some people, so many people, in fact, are so quick to do strongman, hop on gear, and neglect everything else. But you're leaving so much untapped potential on the table by not getting outside and exercising and doing cardio and sorting your sleep out, sorting your food out, as well as the weight training. And I know that's not what this channel is about, so I'm going to leave that there. But I wanted to get it in as we're talking about health, being outside and being in the sun. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a walking channel, this isn't a gardening channel, this isn't a DIY channel. This is the Toby Lively channel, and all of my life gets encompassed on this channel. So whether it's talking about the gym, talking about walking, making something, brewing something, anything I do here is fair game. So if you're invested in that, make sure you subscribe, because of course we're doing lots of walking, and of course we're doing lots of making, lots of growing, lots of DIY. All of that stuff is a big part of my life and will be on this channel, but so is a lot of other stuff. So make sure you're along for the ride. But anyway, we are nearing the end of this walk. That is where I'm going to leave it. So make sure you leave a like down below. Comment down below any thoughts you have on this video. I'm going to enjoy this walk, and I will see you in the next one.